so much. For further proceedings, may I now request Ms. Prachi Bobra, jewelry designer, to please come and take the session. Thank you.
मैं सोच भी बदलती हूँ, नज़रिया भी बदलती हूँ। मिले ना मंजिल मुझे तो उसे पाने का जरिया भी बदलती हूँ। बदलती नहीं अगर कुछ तो मैं लक्ष्य नहीं बदलती, उसे पाने का पक्ष नहीं बदलती। Good morning to wonderful women and the amazing men supporting us. Welcome to the 3rd Women Leadership Conclave 2024, the jewel in our crown. It is absolutely exciting to see you all gathered here again. And let me tell you, you are in for a treat. Last year, after the conclave got over, we had a review meeting where each and every member was high on success and wanted to do better for the next. It's a long process of finding the right mix, and it is always so overwhelming and a matter of pride when we have an extensive list of successful women. We promise you these 13 dynamos of the day will take you on a whirlwind journey. So let's see who they are on the screen. The lineup looks great, right? Before I tell you about the sessions with them, I request Ms. Chani Trivedi to escort our inaugural speakers for the ceremonial lighting of the lamp. And request dignitaries to join us too, Mr. Naveen Khandelwal, President of IMA, Mr. Satish Gupta, DGM State Bank of India, Ms. Shonali Paul, Board Member of IMA, and Mr. Sapan Shah, Vice President of IMA. घेर रहा तिमिर संकट संशय पाप का, आओ सब मिलकर एक दीप जलाएं, धैर्य सहिष्णुता और विश्वास का। एक हो हम हर कदम एक साथ आगे बढ़े, मिटाकर अंधेरा जात पात का। आओ सब मिलकर एक दीप जलाएं, दया क्षमा शौर्य और विकास का। ओजस्वी हो ऊर्जावान हो जाएं, ब्रह्मांड भी अचंभित हो जब जले दिया विश्वास का। आओ एक दीप जलाएं, निर्भयता का नवीनता का प्रयास का।
या कुंदेन्दु तुषार हार धवला, या शुभ्र वस्त्रावृता, या
Thank you to our dignitaries for gracing us with your presence today. I'm thrilled to welcome our dynamic IMA Secretary, Ms. Chani Trivedi, Vice Chairperson of the Sri Aurobindo Group of Institutes, to lead our illustrious inaugural speakers onto the stage. I request Ms. Paramjeet Juneja from Capco and Ms. Anupama Modi from Acropolis to present a token of appreciation to our inaugural speakers. I request Ragini Bafna and Sarita Mundra to escort our guests. Thank you. Thank you so much. You must wonder what's the plan for the day. Since we went paperless and there is no agenda on the table, let me give you an outline. But before that, brace yourself, sit back and relax, and most importantly, cut the outside noise, the naysayers, the distractors, and the you can't do it voices in your head. Just by being here, you've already taken a step towards celebrating yourself, learning from these incredible trailblazers and connecting with change makers. And that, my friends, is a victory in itself. To give you a brief, let me take a moment to tease your appetite for the day. What we have curated for you is no less than a Michelin star experience. Except instead of food, though I know we all love that, we are serving up wisdom, insights, and leadership lessons. You will be treated to bite-sized portions of brilliance from the most incredible speakers from the country. And here's the kicker. Each one of them is about to reveal their secret sauce for success. So get ready to take notes, because these platters full of wisdom are not on Google. It's an action-packed day ahead with women from every arena: corporate bosses, military mavens, life coaches, celebrity, and as a cherry on top, or dessert if you will, a stand-up comedian to bring some laughter into the mix. Because hey, empowerment is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't have a little bit of fun. I think you've got a fair idea of what's coming up in the next few hours. So let's move on now and get to know about us, the IMA. I asked Ms. Chani Trivedi to give us a peek into what IMA is all about.
Thank you, Prachi. Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see so many women who are ready to chase the dreams while chasing their children to eat food. But it gives me immense pleasure to see so many people dressed up in the morning in a single room. I think we need a pat on our back ourselves. So, while the little men, like a few men in the room were wondering which speaker would, or which participant would sit where, I couldn't stop noticing the wonderful attires. So I think that is the beauty of women. We balance it so beautifully well that we probably may give the best takeaways, but also may take addresses of the artisans that we worked with, we wear. So good morning, everyone. Today is all about us. Welcome to the conclave, where glass ceilings are just another thing we break while multitasking, and where strong coffee and even stronger women take center stage. Please give them a big round of applause today. Before we proceed any further, it is essential to acknowledge and tell you about the Indore Management Association, an institution that stands as the beacon of excellence in management. With the vision of promoting management practices, IMA serves as a dynamic platform for professionals from diverse sectors to engage, collaborate, and drive meaningful change. With a commitment to enhancing management practices, IMA provides valuable resources such as workshops, seminars, and networking opportunities that empower individuals to grow in their careers. The association is dedicated to fostering a culture of continuous learning and development, ensuring that its members are equipped to meet the challenges of today's business environment. IMA also plays a crucial role in connecting businesses with broader community, facilitating knowledge exchange and driving economic growth in the region. Its initiatives help create a vibrant ecosystem where professionals can thrive and succeed. With this, I'd also like to share some news worth celebrating. IMA has been awarded the Best Local Management Association Award by IMA for 23-24. This is for the 17th time that IMA has received the Best LMA Award. This is a testament to the consistent dedication and passion that drive IMA's success, and it reinforces our mission to stay at the forefront for development of management fraternity. One such initiative that reflects the dedication is the Women Conclave. Now, in its third edition, it all started with a simple phone call from Naveenji to a few of us with the idea, let's invite a women speaker and let's have an audience of women. As we began searching for that one speaker, we came across many incredible women, which got us thinking, why not bring them all together? And the rest, as they say, is history. Today we are here, proud and excited to host our third Women Conclave, where we celebrate the brilliance, strength, and achievements of women from all walks of life. But this year's Women Conclave has just been more than a one-day affair. We had an outstanding curtain raiser with Padma Shri Malini Awasthiji gracing the occasion and setting the tone for what was to follow. We also launched an initiative called Spark to Spotlight, where experts from IMA took it upon themselves to reach out to women from different backgrounds, going to them if they couldn't come to us. Through this initiative, we provided training and education on crucial topics such as health, financial literacy, cybersecurity, and fitness. I'm incredibly proud and happy to share that this initiative positively impacted the lives of more than 2,000 women till now. And that's not all. We also organized a competition for our girl student, encouraging them to present their ideas on a topic with the idea to promote entrepreneurship and innovation at a young age. To understand what it is, I request the AV team to please play the video. Thank you.
जब भी शुरू करते हैं तो लोगों को पहले हैरत होती है, फिर आलोचना होती है, फिर क्रोध आता है, उपेक्षा होती है, चारों चीजें आप सह जाए तो फिर जय जयकार होती है।
Thank you, Chani. And now, ladies and few gentlemen, hold on to your seats because it's time to hear from our powerhouse speaker of the day, the incredible Miss Sangeeta Talwar. She's someone who has shattered glass ceilings and kicked down doors. Ms. Sangeeta Talwar has held CXO level positions and has helped build iconic brands like Maggi, Tata Tea, and Barbie. Let's roll her introduction and a small video about this marketing genius on the screen.
Sangeeta Talwar is serving as independent director on numerous boards and is amongst the few women in corporate India with a career spanning 34 plus years. She played a key role in launching Maggi 2-minute noodles at Nestle India and helped build some of the most iconic brands like Tata Tea, Barbie, etc. She won Top 25 Businesswoman of the Year for 3 consecutive years and bagged many awards for her outstanding contribution across European, American and Indian corporations. With her commitment to social impact, she initiated the Jago Ray social marketing campaign. She worked at Nestle headquarters in Switzerland, traveled extensively across Europe, US, Asia, Latin America. Being a renowned diversity speaker, she also authored the book, The 2-Minute Revolution, The Art of Growing Businesses. Please welcome Ms. Sangeeta Talwar with a huge round of applause.
Morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, IMA, Rekha Sethi, Sanjay, Anubhav, and the Indore Management Association. Naveen ji, I know. I spoke with him before I came here. And Seema, I know very well because Seema and I have been in touch right through. And we had a wonderful evening yesterday. There's so much talent in this room. It's amazing. So first of all, I want to applaud that talent. I know our lives are not easy, okay? We all know that. So I want to give you a round of applause. I met some amazing entrepreneurs yesterday. And of course, I met some of our amazing speakers today whom you will listen to. And it's just astounding. With everything else going around, you're still able to put it all together and make it work. Make it work for your family, for your spouses, for your kids, for yourself, and for your environment. And I think that is amazing. I have this bad habit of talking a lot. So today I want to talk to you about many things: leadership, innovation, things that have stood me in good stead. How did I manage to do some of the things that I did? And I can keep talking. And so what I've done for today, in order to try to stay with my timing, is to create some cheat sheets, which I have in front of me. So I'm going to refer to them frequently and try to come around the podium so we can be more closely in touch and then come back to refer to my cheat sheets. So what distinguishes a leader and a follower? The key thing that distinguishes them is innovation. And leaders are the hallmark of that innovation. Leaders of companies, of businesses, they set a particular vision. They have a perspective. And they are willing to relook at that perspective. And one of the concepts I speak about in my book is fly vision, which is about flying with the birds, being able to go to 20, 30,000 feet and recontextualize where you are and look out at that horizon and see what's emerging. And then see, where could this organization be tomorrow? Where can the group of people you're leading be tomorrow? Where can your business be tomorrow? And what are the things that you need to do to get there? So they have a perspective, they set a vision, they share that vision, they take that team along with them. They have a very important thing, clarity of purpose. And can you do innovation if you don't know where you're going and why you're going there? You can't. So that's why what distinguishes leaders and followers is innovation. Leaders also inspire, empower, and enable their teams to do things which are well beyond their known capability. They help them to excel. And I'm sure many of you entrepreneurs here are doing exactly that with your teams, looking out. And now with the millennial and the Gen Z, I think the key word is not about enabling, it's about engaging. How do you engage the younger generation to actually figure out what is it that they want to achieve in life and to actually go beyond that and help them to achieve it? There's another very important thing. Leaders don't sit on past laurels. They are always up for taking on the next challenge. And that's what you do when you innovate. And I'm going to talk to you later about how we can be more risk-taking in life. So in this VUCA world, and that's a question I got asked outside, that with the world in the situation that it is, what are the qualities of leadership? And whoever you talk to the Big Four, you talk to their international offices, these are the qualities that are coming through. You need empathy. Who in this room has a lot of empathy? Who in this room has a lot of empathy? I think all the hands in this room will go up. And I think that's something we can pat ourselves on the back for. We have an empathy quotient which is perhaps very high and sometimes gets criticized, and we'll come to that. But you need empathy. You need to connect with people. I think in all the digital world, what's happening is we are losing that human-to-human connection. And I can tell you, even if your team is remote, and that's fine because you can work virtually and you can have a remote team, please make sure that you connect with them as a person as frequently as you can. And that never changes, that one-on-one connection. Leaders today need resilience. You don't know what's coming up. It's a VUCA world. You don't know what's coming up. It's uncertain, it's chaotic, it's ambiguous, it's volatile. It's changing. You cannot predict, knowing today's geopolitical situation, you cannot predict what is going to be tomorrow. When will aspects of it get accelerated? When will certain peace accords come through? How will the whole world economy actually start moving towards a higher growth rate? And it's not just dependent on the Fed's interest rate, but many, many other factors. So leaders need to be very agile. Look what's happening on artificial intelligence. I mean, we just heard about it the other day, and it's already reached a space where there are maybe 1 million use cases. There are companies which have these 1 million use cases, which are going to bring them to bear. So you need to be agile, you need to embrace change as a leader, and you need to be risk-taking. And in order to do all this, the one thing that has completely changed from the earlier days, we used to be used to hierarchical organizations. They used to be led by one person, and then there were people who were in the organization heading different things and being responsible. But today, those structures are breaking down. It's all about collaborative teamwork. People are working in concentric circles. They're not working in hierarchical, pyramidal organizations anymore. And I just mentioned, talked to you about empathy. And you know, often I got criticized as I grew up in the corporate world, saying, oh, you know, you women are too emotional. Is it wrong to be emotional? Is it wrong to be emotional? It isn't. It isn't. And no one ever told me that. I didn't have anyone like myself talking to me as I grew up, because, and I'll just mention all those firsts which I had to trailblaze. But, you know, we are human beings. We are full of emotion. And I recently attended a workshop, and I worked with this professor. His name is Dan Newby. His latest book is The Unopened Gift, and he's a professor who works on the subject of emotions. And he asked us a very fundamental question. He said, how are decisions made? And so everybody went very left brain, you know, we think about it, we consider it, it's logical. And he said, you're all wrong. all decisions are emotional first, and then you use logic to justify them. And then he told us a couple of very basic things. He said, if we were so logical, would we ever have children? Would we ever get married? Would we bungee jump? I mean, those are stupid things to do, right? Those are not logical things, those are emotional things, and then you use logic to justify them. So, what I want to tell you is it's all right to be emotional. And I think if you can pepper that very fine thing called emotion, which actually personifies you as a human being, with a bit of sense of objectivity. You know, where is that emotion coming from? Even something like anger, where is it coming from? What's the root of that emotion? And, you know, the other thing which was a kind of a eureka moment for me, he told us, he says, there's no point in pushing things under the carpet and saying, oh, don't be angry. It's not going to help. You need to stay in the emotion. You need to experience it to understand where is it coming from, how does it work through your system, and only once you have lived that emotion, only then can you start to change your behavior to tackle that emotion better. So I wanted to leave that with you as a thought. I think it's a very important learning as you go forward in life. My journey has been one of innovation. I was the first lady, and I'm talking to you about a time which is at least 4 decades old, right? So that's a long, long time ago. I was the first lady hired by Nestle into management. Before that, there were only women in administration or secretaries. So there was a lot resting on my shoulders to prove that, you know, women are no different, no less than all the men who work in this organization. So I can tell you one of the things that I never did. I never asked for any concession, never. Never asked for any concession. If I needed to travel while Assam was flooded for work, I did it. If I needed to travel at night, get off from a night train at a platform in order to visit that next city I wanted to do the market in, I did it. So the company was very good. I was very lucky. They always took care of my safety, but I never said no for anything. And that was some of the, that's some of the burden, you can say, of trailblazing, but it's also the opportunity. It's also the opportunity to prove to yourself that, you know, you're up to it. Shruti, you remember? Yes, okay. So life is a journey. It's a labyrinth of pathways that emerge from where? That labyrinth of pathways emerges from where? It emerges from your choices and where you arrive as a result of those choices. It's all about the choice that you make. And one of the things I want to encourage everyone in this room who has either teaches students or has children at home who are at that stage where they have to make an important choice, please tell them it must be their choice. It must not be your choice as an educator, as a teacher, a professor, a mother, an aunt. It should not be your choice. Help them to do all the work they need to do to understand what are the choices they are making, between what and what lies ahead, what do you know of what lies ahead, what is it that you want to do, have you connected with your inner self to understand what is your passion, where do you want to go. Help them with all that, but do not make the decision for them, because once you make it your choice, there are a couple of very important things that happen. You take responsibility for the outcomes of that choice. Otherwise, you spend the rest of your life pointing a finger at someone who took that choice, who made that choice for you, which is a very bad place to be. The other thing it does for you is it convinces you, it builds trust in yourself. It builds your confidence that you made a choice, you saw it through to its success, and then you moved forward and you made your next choice. So I think it's very important. I would encourage you to not, you know, take the more convenient option, which is to make for the youngsters. So I made my own choices. My father, we were a middle-class family. He was a very senior civil servant, the government, and he wanted me to sit for the civil services exam. And I told him, I said, you know, I'm more interested in the business world. And I can understand at your time, you know, civil services were the thing to do. But in my world, I think it's better to join the business world. And so I did my management studies at IIM Calcutta. I didn't sit for the IAS exams. I also was the last child at home, and my parents were getting older. So I made the decision to be in Delhi. Delhi had 2 or 3 very good companies, and I applied to all of them, and I was very fortunate. I got calls from all of them, and then I was very happy to choose Nestle. And I think that choice of being in Delhi, getting into Nestle, determined a lot of things. I probably wouldn't be invited today if I hadn't been associated with the success of Maggi. The other thing I want to mention quickly is, you know, none of us operate as a single entity. We cannot succeed if we cannot collaborate and work with a team. So while I got a lot of the accolades, and I was kind of the centerpiece for the entire development and launch of Maggi, but there was a whole organization there. There was a whole team there that helped me to do it. And I think from the choices I made, I built confidence in myself. I built that trust in myself. I built my own courage to make the next choice and move on. And what that does is it enables you to take risks. So I took a risk of going off to Switzerland. I took the risk of changing jobs. I moved out of marketing. I put my hand up for a very challenging assignment in sales. I was India's first regional sales manager in the fast-moving consumer goods industry. I used to run 25% of the geography of the country for the entire turnover of Nestle in that geography. That was the entire north. And those were all challenges that I took on. Because I had been enabled through my earlier choices and building my confidence and my courage. You know, I'm talking to you about a time when there was one airline, there were 2 brands of cars, there was no packaged water, there was no packaged food, and I used to travel 5 days at least. Every month, I would shut my office and I would go into the market. And the other thing I want to mention quickly to you is that's how I built up a huge reputation within the organization. If I walked into a regional sales office to discuss my business with the people who ran sales in that region, they knew I knew more than them already about my entire business in their area, because I had taken the time to travel extensively and understand what's happening on the ground. So often they would come to me for advice and say, okay, what do you think we should do? And I think part of that comes from the ability to be, what I want to tell you is courage is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to act in the fear and to get beyond it. And that's what I used to do. So I used to travel and get to know what was happening in their business. And I want to narrate to you one of the examples of courage, which was quite astounding, actually. I was maybe 3 years or 2 years in the company. We had launched Maggi, and things were not going well. The sales started, tracking behind the target line. And the MD of the company was extremely upset. So he called all the heads of departments, and I was the youngest member in that room. I was also called in because I was the person who was at the centerpiece of everything happening on Maggi. And he just told us, he said, we've just had a very successful launch. Switzerland has congratulated, headquarters has congratulated us, and now sales are not up to speed. So I want you all to get out of the head office, go into the market, and launch every kind of promotion on the brand and make sure sales are equal to on target. So everybody kept quiet. So I raised my hand and I said, sir, may I speak? And I was granted permission to speak. And I was sweating because I was the youngest person there. Nobody else had spoken a word. And I told him, I said, sir, we've launched this product. It's done extremely well. Actually, we used to get chased in the market for stock. I said it's done extremely well. The consumer is very, very happy with it. Don't you think we should just take a pause to understand whether we have overestimated what sales there should be, and therefore our own expectation is not being met, rather than something being wrong with the sales or the product or everything else around it? And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. And whether he listened, so I told him, I said, sir, if we launch all these promotions now, to put up the cost of selling this product for the rest of its life. And maybe we are not allowing the baby to walk, we are expecting it to run too soon. So he heard me out. Whether he followed what I recommended or not is a separate issue. What it did in that instance, it built my reputation within the organization. So everybody there felt that here's a person who will, I could have got fired, okay, for saying all those things. But I had the courage to stand up for what I thought was right. And so it built their trust in me. And subsequently, a lot of the senior people would always ask me for my advice on what needed to be done. So I sort of went beyond my calling in that sense. And I want to just pause here and ask whether, why was Maggie called an innovation? Why was it an innovation? Was it just because it was a new product? Was it just a new concept? Sorry? Okay, so I want to tell you that it was not only just because of a new product, a new concept, but there was nothing like it in the market before. There was no convenience food. There was no hot, quick cooking snack. There was nothing. You could make sandwiches, or you could make, pakoras, or you could do the vada, samosa, all of that, which was mostly outsourced. But there's nothing at home which you could stir up very quickly. And I think the pester power it created with children was another very big part of the whole ethos of the brand. But you know what's most important, and this is can be a learning for a lot of your businesses, is that it was innovative because of so many factors, and also how it was presented to the consumer. Its packaging, the name of the product, the way it was communicated, the target group that it chose, the kind of jingle. I remember I had to go back to Bombay to request some reshooting and some re-editing because we weren't very happy with what we first saw. The fantastic taste and convenience which the company consistently delivered. And there's so many stories here, so I'll get distracted. Let me continue. The ability that mums had to add things to the product. So here was a basic product you could quickly cook up. And some mums yesterday were complaining that their 20 years old still cooks it up late in the night because it's quick cooking. But the ability of the mum to add to that, I think, was a great innovation as well. And just the way the product was displayed in the market, and that was also innovative. We never occupied shelf space, we occupied air space in those baskets. And if you'd missed the TV commercial, if you'd missed the advertising in the newspapers or the hoardings, you walked into every shop, you were bound to see it. And that put another constraint on the company, because that's how we specified the outcome from the team that was handling Maggie, that we wanted visible in every store. And that's not easy to do with a flexible packaging. It was the first flexible pack of food in the country. Before that, everything was sold in cans, and that created another problem. Because Nestle was used to selling baby food which had 18-month shelf life, 1.5 years. And here was a product with a 9-month shelf life. And through that whole system of carrying and forwarding agents, distributor, dealers, outlets, consumer, how do you make sure that the product is always fresh and everyone's following that timeline of the shelf life of the product? So there were many, many challenges here. And then the whole outreach of how we reach the consumer through schools and all of that. So this whole innovation was about many, many things. And the thought I want to leave with you is, whatever business you're in, think consumer backwards into your organization, and then look at all the myriad things that you could do for your business to make that contact with the consumer really solid, repetitive, consistent, and that's what a brand is. A brand stands for something, and it must stand for that 24/7. So you can't say that today's Sunday, and so I don't bother what is coming off the production lines. It has to be exactly what comes off every day, and you have to sustain that quality right through. And I'm very happy to tell you that even today, the tastemaker that was completely an India development, took a lot of time to develop it, still tastes exactly the same. Because why would you change a winning horse, right? But what made the innovation endure is another very, very important aspect, and that is the failure that we had with the product. And when we were launching it by city, because it was the first time, right? We were launching a flexible pack, hanging it in the shop. You know how the situation of the retail markets were 40 years ago. You had rats and insects all over them. So you had to be very careful. So we were doing it city by city. But in the meantime, we didn't realize that there are these very savvy businessmen, the wholesalers, who were on the back of communication and a great success, shipping it right across the country. Now, nobody who is in sales who's selling well is going to tell you that, so much of my stock is going out. Nobody's going to tell you that, right? Because he's doing well. Why should he tell you that it's also going to Kanyakumari, not only Delhi city? So when we launched across the country, we got the shock of our life because sales was below what we expected it to be. Okay. And so from this, we realized that the product started getting, getting bought on promotion, started getting older. And so we stopped in our tracks, we cleaned it all up, we took away stock, we made sure that everybody followed that shelf life norm very strictly, and we refocused on the kid. In this push for volumes, there were a lot of promotions oriented to the mother, but we got back and focused on the real consumer, the child. And I think if we hadn't done that, I wonder if the brand would have been so big today. So I want to leave you with a closing thought that in the choices you make, you build your courage to make your next few choices, and you build your confidence. And I think in the VUCA world, it's very, very important to build your confidence and your resilience to be able to embrace whatever change is going to come your way in order to make your business sustainable. Thank you. All the best.
Thank you, Ms. Sangeeta. We are lucky to have someone like you to learn from, to embrace our true nature, being emotional, empathetic. And we are truly in awe of your journey. Your journey has made it easier for the women in corporate today. Though we can't condense your 40 years of experience, but we try to do this. This is a small glimpse of the magic of marketing that you conjured.
When kids are hungry, it's always Maggie. So fast to cook and good to eat.
That was just a teaser. Lunch is still far ahead, right? Yeah, sure.
Hello. Hello.
I'm so sorry to take more time. I couldn't resist it. I wanted to tell you, and the biggest trick was you focus on the kid, and all these kids have today become adults. And so there's no resistance to their kids eating Maggie. Like the mums I met yesterday. Thank you.